My husband thinks I slept with another man, but the reality is different. This comes from Queen Legolas, and they say, I caught my husband of 10 years cheating on me with multiple women. He bragged about how he was able to get laid. I know one woman who is 19 years old. It seemed like it was just an ego boost for him. I always knew he had issues with his ego. He was a very insecure man. Whenever someone does something better than him, he would get jealous. Looking back, I regret choosing him because I thought that he was a sweet person, so it didn't matter if he was a bit egotistical. When I found out he was cheating, I left him, took my kids. I also exposed his affairs. He has since been begging me to take him back. I know for sure he is begging because his mom kicked his ass. No one is taking his side, which is good. His last straw is to make me reconcile with him so that he is somewhat acceptable. I refuse because all of the things he said about me, about my body, he can never come back from. I nearly died after giving birth to my son, and all he said was that my body is ruined. Oh my God. So my friend gave me an idea to hook up with someone else as revenge. I was hesitant. I am not someone who can do random hookups, so I staged a lie. With the help of my friends, I staged having a revenge affair. Okay, do we think having a revenge affair is a good idea? Why or why not?
No, because an eye for an eye
Makes the whole world blind.
Awesome. Blind. If we keep going tit for tat, then where are we going to end up? Like for OP, moving on as soon as possible and starting to, build, invest in themselves, that's going to yield them the best result versus staying in the mess. It just brings you down this dark
you don't
path.
want to go back. You don't want to go down to his level.
You don't want to go
You don't want to go down to his
More
level.
negativity for you.
I staged having a revenge affair. The last time he came to convince me, he said he cut off all contact with his affair partner and got himself into therapy. I wasn't satisfied. I wanted to crush his ego.
Oh boy.
And crush his confidence. I told him that I slept with someone else. At first, he didn't believe me, told me I was lying. I pulled out my phone where there was text exchange between me and a randomness guy, which was just me and my friends chatting. We exchanged fake pics, and there were some spicy messages. And he started to believe me. So I think she's going down the rabbit hole of convincing him that there was an actual affair.
Put an ICU.
But I see, yeah.
Where
do you think this is gonna backfire? Let us know. He pestered to know more about this guy. I made up a story how he is someone I met at the gym. He started cursing me. How can you do this to me? He started asking me questions. Did he use protection? How many times did he do it? Did he make you come? The last thing that actually broke him was when he asked my friend about it. She is the friend with whom I'm staying currently. She lied to him and said that we were making noises all night. And I send my kids to my mom's for that. I can see my cheating husband having a meltdown. He really thought he was all that. I may end up hooking with a random because I am done with him and I'm done with our marriage.
So I didn't realize A, they were married, and B, they had children.
Yo.
That makes it 10 times crazier.
10 times worse.
10
dude.
times worse.
Yeah,
you don't have to stay in the relationship.
No,
of
no.
course. You can
leave the
invest in
relationship.
yourself. But that doesn't mean that you should get revenge and that'll really screw with the relationship.
Yeah.
Do what Riley's hat says. Show him, Riley.
Dump
Boom.
him.
Dump him.
Let's get into some relevant comments and the update. So Shakura says, honestly, this is probably better than actually having a revenge affair. OP says, to be honest, my heart is still loyal to my marriage. No matter how much I hate him, he is still on paper my husband. I cannot disrespect my vows. Insane Whisper says, you're still married to him? OP responds, we separated 6 months ago. I left home. I filed for divorce. We are legally married, but there are some custody issues. And there is an update.
Why? Why do that?
Yeah.
It makes no sense. So here's a question. As of right now in this story, is everybody the a-hole?
Well, husband's definitely a-hole.
100% husband's the a-hole.
Wife is, I think, the a-hole as well.
I think so.
I think OP's the a-hole.
I think everyone's the a-hole.
I actually, even though I understand that she's hurting, I still think she's the a-hole.
It's just not good. She's being the a-hole to herself.
She's being
Hold on.
She's being the a-hole to herself by not really
talk about
standing by her values.
Come on.
Today seems like a good day to give you guys an update. No, I'm still not divorced. We recently just finished the discussion about the custody. There was a lot of back and forth. He wanted majority of the custody, knowing well he knows nothing about childcare. Finally, we decided that I will get majority of the custody and he will get visitation. Probably the reason why he chose this is because he wanted to keep up with his bachelor life without the responsibility of family. My daughter has stopped asking questions. I think deep down she knows her dad messed up. I have signed my daughter and son up for therapy. Probably good.
This is good. Maybe get one for yourself while you're at it.
Yeah, I think so. As for me, I'm not dating. I'm also not interested in one-night stands. I opened Tinder and yeah, I got a lot of messages. It was a shock to me as well, lol. Not bragging, but it made me sad because all these men just want to fling. And I'm a romantic person. I want someone who can spoil me. I want someone who will hold me tight and say nice things.
Yep.
I want to rely on someone for my emotional needs. He will be there for me.
Amen.
I regret wasting so many years of my life over a man who won't do that, but I guess I am one of the unlucky first wives, lol. My ex is still trying to convince me to reconsider. He made so many excuses that I can write a book about it and then give classes about gaslighting 101. I did something petty again. I listed the number of things he could have done instead of cheating and forwarded the list to him. He was mad at me, but it worked because he stopped giving excuses. I will be fine, just a little down. I'm trying to stay positive for my kids, just like Gloria Gaynor's song, I will survive. I will update in another good day when life gets better. And there are some relevant comments. So before we dive in, I'll just hear those. Beginning Working at 38 says, I'm amazed an insecure weasel like him was able to get multiple women to sleep with him. OP says, just like guys, some girls have low standards or are very insecure about themselves. And Noir Gyre says, sounds like he wants no child support rather than actually wanting kids. Stay strong. No need to punish yourself. OP responds, which is funny because child support is exactly the same amount of money he would have spent either way if we stayed together. Kids cost money. One thing I will give it to him is he wasn't stingy when it came to paying bills for the kids. And that is where that story ends.
So, halfway mark, husband, everyone was the a-hole.
Everyone that's a-hole.
Do we think OP, end of the story, is still the a-hole?
I mean, did she? I don't think she said that the affair was fake. I feel like to reverse the a-holeness that she was doing, she would have to come clean and be like, hey, I actually I did not have this affair that I told you.
That wasn't productive for either of us. And also tell the truth and be like, hey, I want to co-parent. I want to be able to grow from this.
Yeah. I think she did have there was character development there.
100%.
She came away from this being like, I'm not going to do the revenge cheating and stuff. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm going to actually divorce him. It feels like she actually got to a place that was better than the first one, but still not the a-hole.
Am I the a-hole for telling my wife it's her own fault for not getting invited on a group trip? Husband in because we're not married legally, throw away, please let me vent here. The husband's 39, OP's 39, the mistress is 29, and the best friend is also 39. So we have been together for 14 years, living together for 11, and that is not nothing. He came and told me that he was in love about 3 weeks ago. I was surprised at the lack of I had to give at receiving such information. I did love him, but maybe my love has always been conditional, and its survival depends on it being reciprocated because it literally vanished the second he confessed to me that he was in love with another woman. He didn't want a separation, but to maybe open the relationship up a little or let his feelings for her subside. I said, what do you think? What do you think? Yeah, you think that's OP's response?
Yeah.
I said, it was over. He was taken aback by my indifference, which I thought, the audacity. Did he want me to hurt and suffer? I told him that he should be relieved that he didn't cause pain. Instead, he has been sulking since. Last Friday, I got home, and the mistress was there.
Oh.
In the home, sitting in my kitchen, sipping tea. The audacity. I felt nauseous because, seriously, I told them this wasn't civil at all and to never be in my home again, or I would call the cops. I went to my room and I heard her yelling at him for not standing up to her. Then I heard her say something very curious. Why haven't you kicked her out yet? He was trying to tell her to lower her voice to whispering, shh, later. We can discuss later.
Wait. The mistress was asking, why haven't you kicked
her out
OP
yet? OP out yet? Why haven't you kicked her out
God.
yet? She left and he came to me apologizing. He said, we didn't have sex here if that's what you were scared of. She just dropped by because I was working from home today.
Dropped by to do what?
To do what?
To do
to
fucking
sip
what?
tea?
Yeah. Yeah.
She can brew Earl Grey at home, buddy.
Bro.
All right.
They're talking about tea, but we know they were doing the deed.
I told him that he had until the end of March to move out and find somewhere to be during the weekend. This morning, I changed all the locks. From now on, he isn't allowed in my place during my working hours, so if he starts later or finishes earlier, he needs to wait for me to come home to let him in. But his mistress's words stuck with me, so during the weekend, I've been stalking. I think she thinks he is rich.
Oh.
That he owns the house.
But she does.
It seems like OP owns the house,
Yeah.
given that she changed all the lock. It seems like the husband didn't contest it.
Yeah.
So that's what we're assuming here. Or at least that he owns my apartment. I think she also thinks that my parents' summer house and boat also belong to him.
Oh, so is she kind of gold digging, but she thought she has gold, but it's really just a fool's gold.
The golden rug is about to be pulled right from under her.
That is some
ass.
sweet revenge right there.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful. Unfortunately, the loser has taken her there. Oh my God. He took her to the cabin with the boat. Her parents' cabin.
That's not even his.
That's not even his. Imagine the parents walk in.
Oh my God.
Mad to them, like,
oh my God.
which, I mean, they're in a cabin. That is a very
What else
possible,
is there to do?
That is a super possible scenario that could happen. Probably bragging about his wealth because her hashtags were all about #the good life. So she's posting from it.
Oh my God.
Wow. Because she's stalking her social. So I was telling my best friend all of this, but she was more agitated than indignant on my behalf. She told me that he was scum not telling the mistress the truth. I agreed. I know, right? But then she said, I was no better not explaining to her his situation either. Is OP the a-hole for not telling the mistress the truth about OP's poorness?
No, not the a-hole. Definitely not.
I was dumbfounded, but she was serious. I told her that it wasn't my job to bring the mistress back to Earth. My best friend got very angry and demanded that I give her mistress's username so she could warn her and tell her everything.
OP not giving this person the information, like that's not her job.
Yeah.
You know, like that's like she doesn't owe anything to this person, and so she's not like actively doing anything. You know, her getting involved would probably hurt her more.
Although, to play devil's advocate, if you truly want to be the saint of all saints, then I guess you could, even to this person who has caused you insane immense pain, be like, hey, he doesn't have this.
But that feels almost like petty a little bit too. Like, why does she need to tell her? What she needs to do, she needs to say, like, husband, you can't go to my fucking houses and stuff.
My best friend got very angry and demanded I give her the mistress's username so she could warn her. No, I said. She called me a bigger douche than she is. Whoa. I don't know what's going on here with these people. Have I gone mad? Have they gone mad, or have I? It's them. When did our moral compasses go askew like this? Can someone tell me that I am not insane? We have some relevant comments, but real quick, OP's not in the wrong.
No, OP's not in the wrong. And I think it's a very different scenario than the last one. Like, I think, again, like, her not saying anything is different than like creating a whole crazy scenario. All she's doing, like she's not the a-hole for telling this mistress that she has no connection with some information. You know, like it's not on her. It's on the husband.
There is some relevant comments
And
an update.
Oh, huge.
Into the relevant comments. Jasmine Arugula says, your husband is twisted. He told you in the first place so to light a fire under your toes to make you fight for him or something, rekindle your passion or something. He's not being discreet to get a reaction from you on purpose. And since that fell through, it'll be great when he's not living at the places that mistress came around to scope out. Your friend, give her a couple more feet of space because she's not looking out for you right now. Facts. OP responds with, I truly think the cheating was taking a toll on him, so he told me he wanted to open the relationship. He didn't admit it at first that he already cheated. Oh, okay. So first he brought up the open marriage, and then he ultimately
says, like,
confessed.
I've already cheated. Yeah.
Yes. I don't know what to rekindle. We have had a very passionate, at least on my part, and loving relationship with lots of but
I love that addition.
But I can't make him love me or not fall for someone else. He's very sad now and crying all the time. I have never seen him cry before. It is awful because I feel guilty. don't, but at the same time, I don't feel guilty. I told him to seek mental help. Maybe he needs to sort out his feelings, but far away from me. Shouldn't he be over the moon now, being newly in love? I remember nothing would make me cry when I was newly in love with him. Nothing could go wrong. Now he is sullen and morose all the time. Disastrous Dad 8561 says, nope, not wrong. Get rid of him and wash your hands. Your bestie sounds delusional. OP says, phew, because I thought that something was wrong with me when she got upset. Top in a Bore Rex says, you should question why your friend wants to side with the mistress.
That's what I'm saying. What the fuck? What kind of motive does she have?
In what world? OP responds, believe me, I have questioned and speculated. I think her marriage started in a similar fashion to the mistress. Oh, the friend's marriage. So the friend was a mistress in her marriage. That's how she found her husband.
Oh, so she's advocating for the mistresses.
Yes. She's
like, I'm a mistress. They deserve. Oh, yeah.
I stand with the mistresses. OP responds to finding out that the friend was
a mistress.
A mistress, yes.
Yeah.
Believe me, I have questioned and speculated. I think her marriage started in a similar fashion to the mistress. Sometimes you're friends for so long, 35 years in my case, because you've known them your entire life, you don't see how different you are as people. So it's like she's known him her whole life. It's like growing up with someone, and you kind of have that like rose-tinted view of them, I think. And you're like, well, like, yeah, they cheated to like they were a mistress to get their husband, but you know, that's Mary. I've like known her my whole life.
You
like,
know how Mary is.
and now Mary's like, no, you need to. I'm gonna reach out to the
dude. Crazy to be on the side of the mistress.
Wow. Absolutely insane.
We have an update on this story.
We do. OP says, I had a showdown with my former best friend.
Showdown.
I did it. I had the showdown with my former best friend via text, and I confronted her about her non-existent support when I went to her with my woes. I told her that she concentrated on the wrong issue. She should have been my shoulder to cry on. She should have shown up with wine, ice cream, and a shovel. What's the shovel for? But instead, she called me a bigger douche than my husband. Insane.
How?
She tried to gaslight me, and I realized that she's always been a gaslighter, so I interrupt her before she made me out to be the villain. I asked her bluntly, was her husband's name married when you started sleeping together? Told us that when he was married before, we all knew that, but we were all under the impression that he was married and divorced before you two met. But was he still married? Is that why you related to the mistress and felt sympathy for her? Because you were her. She didn't answer me until the next day to call me a bitter and jealous bitch.
Yeah, dude, she's guilty. She's guilty. I mean, because she's like, I feel like she knows it's a yes, but she can't admit it to herself, so she's just lashing out.
Exactly. You know? Calling your friend a bigger douche
is wild.
Insane.
Is wild, especially because OP got cheated on.
Bro,
that's
like
crazy.
What?
That's like crazy.
What are we doing? This was the last one-on-one interaction I've had with her. She's been my friend since preschool, but now we have to go our separate ways, not only to save us from future hurt, but also to save our memories together from hurt. I talked to my husband too and asked him not to make the separation difficult and bitter, that it ruins all the happiness we felt together because we cannot think back on 1/3 of our lives with resentment. I asked my husband to take my dad's offer. So he offered to help him find a lease on an apartment and pay half the year's rent if he moved out without giving me problems. When I got home, he and his clothes were gone. He left without
I thought he was naked.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I was like, whoa. He's like, hey baby, let's reconcile it. Screw your dad's money. He left an apology letter saying that he will always love me and never meant to hurt me. Okay.
Bullshit, bro.
I have finally been able to cry my eyes out, and it felt so good. I've been crying since I got home. I lost 2 of the closest people, but this is what happens when we hit hardships. We see people's true faces. That is my update. I don't know if anything major will happen to make more updates. It is time for me to move on. So this is OP on being told that she is kind. It is not out of kindness. I can't just kick the man out without a fight or a bribe. If I started having eviction proceedings, I would need at least 6 months to do so, and I didn't want him in my life for this long. So I am bribing him. Housing is very scarce and a primary lease is almost impossible. My dad has connections with landlords, so he agreed to move out. He's living with his parents now until he gets his contract. I am happy it didn't get more complicated. This was what my lawyer advised me to do because taking the eviction route would have made it drag on for months.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Finito.
Oh my God.
Finito.
All right. Well, like, I guess that shows it's good to be rich because
It
you can get rid of
pays
your
to be rich.
problems with money.
Who'd have thunk it?
Who would have thunk it? Am I the asshole for trying to get my ex-husband to keep my boyfriend's mother's dog in our divorce? I, 43 female, am getting divorced from my wasband, not a husband, my husband, 50 male after 20 years of marriage, 23 years in total. We don't have children, but we have 2 pugs, Otter 12 and Loki 4. They are our babies. We both love them and want only the best for these squishy-faced, fat, hungry, screaming little guys. In our divorce agreement, I will be moving out of our mutual home, and the pugs will be staying with him. We've even made it official in our divorce papers. So far, everything has been pretty amicable. I should mention now that my husband and I were polyamorous for 15 years. I'll now be introducing members of my polycule. So like we're introducing new players and characters in this story. I'll now be introducing members of my polycule.
That sounds like a Pokemon.
Yeah, I know. That totally sounds out like a Pokemon. My partner, 40 male, and I have been dating for 2 years. He and his wife have been together 6 years. She has another male partner not featured in the story. Man, dude, poly relationships. It's crazy. 2 months ago, my partner's 40 male mother ended up being admitted to the hospital. I think I'm drunk, actually. It was recommended that she be discharged to an assisted living facility. She has 2 dogs and 2 cats that we now need to find homes for. I took the 2 dogs, and my partner's wife found a new home for the cats. I was quickly able to find a home with a friend for the younger and bigger dog. We kept Lady, 15 female, a long-haired dachshund mix. This dog has been my Metamor's grandfather's before he passed away. Okay, so we're collecting more dogs now. I didn't want her to be completely disconnected from her family. Convincing my husband to allow her to stay with us wasn't too hard because he loves dachshunds. They remind him of his own grandmother.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I have no idea. Everything was going okay until last night. The other night, my husband asked me when I was going to move out because they were like breaking up. I took that to mean I'm done living with you. Please leave. I am unable to move in with my boyfriend and his family at this time. So I started talking to a friend of a friend who was needing a roommate. I mentioned this to my husband. He grew concerned because now he's saying that he thought I wasn't going to move out for another 4 months. I walked him through my rationale and we agreed that I don't need to move out right away. Yay for communication. Then I realized when I move out, I wasn't sure where Lady was going to live. The pugs are legally secured. My partner already has 6 pets plus chickens, so there's not really room for her there.
But 6 pets and chickens, dog? What are you talking about?
Dude, these poly couples go crazy.
Bro, they're
like
poly with their pets, too.
How do you manage that many relationships?
Bro,
that's so
you're telling me
things.
you're dating 4 other like
4
married
other people
couples and you have 6 fucking chickens, dog? Like, what are we doing?
No. Not 6 chickens. 6 plus
and
plus
chickens. Bro, stop.
I asked my husband about his real feelings on her. He was honest with me and said, I can't be left alone with 3 dogs. And his defense, she still has accidents around the house. Will sometimes snap at her older pup. He is deaf and mostly blind.
Weird flex, but okay.
If he gets too close to her face. I told him I understood and was glad he was honest with me. Communication. But I didn't know if he could take her either. If I could, I wouldn't be leaving the pugs with him. I did something I rarely do. I told him that I could guilt trip him into keeping her after I move out. He said, I can't guilt trip him. I told him that I could. That's when I turned to Lady and said the saddest thing I could think of. Lady, it's okay. We won't put all your things in trash bags when you leave. As soon as I said it, the room shifted. I dealt a low blow. 1, he wasn't aware that I would ever take against him. As a kid, he spent time in foster care, being bounced around with family members that he believed didn't want him. He pursed his lips, dove into the phone, and started texting someone. Things were silent for a long while. When I told my friends what happened, I asked if I crossed the line. They said maybe, but they didn't think I was an a-hole, but I feel like I am. So am I the a-hole? I'm a little confused. Oh, Taya Martin says kids that end up in the foster system usually put all their stuff in garbage bags.
Oh my gosh. So it was like an insult.
It was almost,
and that was the low blow that they were talking about.
Oh,
Thank
so
you,
OP's like, lady, it's okay. We won't put all your things in trash bags when you leave because it's like, oh, you're gonna be given up because like we fostered you, but now you're just gonna.
My God!
You're gonna put all your things in trash bags.
What a
we don't.
crazy insult.
And also, OP's husband was in foster care, so it's like it hurts even more.
Damn.
Insatia, do you want us to call you?
We can talk.
Yeah, we can talk
We
and
can
get
talk
some.
one out.
And get some.
I got her on the. Yeah, I got her.
Hi.
Welcome to the OKOP live stream. So I guess my question to you, how do you feel post saying that? Do you feel bad? Do you feel good? Was there any fallout from that? Did you like apologize? What like how did it work?
I felt bad, which is why I was like, was I the asshole in that? But I have not apologized because I was hoping they forget. But it sounds like everyone's saying that was really traumatic.
Well, it sounds like people
and
who
I should probably
specifically
apologize.
have experienced the foster system, especially, were like, oh, that's like because it's so traumatic, you know, even though, you know, you set it up with this like context where like, oh, I bet I could guilt trip you, which maybe you successfully did. But like, I think pulling on that trauma was maybe a little bit too harsh, but I think redeemable if you.
The apology can happen.
Apology can happen, and like I think like saying like oh no, it's Lizzie Joe says can always apologize now that you know it was likely way more hurtful than you originally thought because maybe you don't know like how hard that probably was for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
no, I get that.
So what do you think you're gonna do?
Oh, I'm gonna apologize to him.
Hey,
let's go.
There we go.
Let's go.
Love that.
When?
Ooh.
Could you?
Well, he's home right now, so I could apologize to him now, but it'll definitely be a long conversation.
Do you want to call him right now, have a talk to him, and then let us know when you're back, and then we can kind of debrief?
Yeah, I can do that.
Hell yeah.
There we go.
How did the apology go?
I think it went well. I was very sincere about how mean it was, and I basically said, hey, I'm sorry.
Yeah, wait. So
did
did you just go into the room? Like, what did you say first?
I said, hey, I want to talk to you about what happened last night. And he was like, okay. He seemed confused because he had dropped it, and he was like, well, I was mad for about 5 minutes, but I've let it go. And I said I was never going to try and guilt trip him that way again.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's super awesome.
What did he respond to that after?
He thanked me. And then I told him, I was very upfront. I said, I posted I actually told him that I made a post on Reddit and that everyone overwhelmingly called me the a-hole. And then I sent him the link so that he could read it. And
I mean, how do you feel? Do you feel good?
I feel better now that I've apologized to him. I still feel like what I said was mean. But I mean, I can't take that back, but I apologize.
Yeah. And I think it's hard to not only admit you're wrong, hear it from all these different places.
Yeah.
And I want to acknowledge that you really took everything in stride. And I think that's something to acknowledge and appreciate it for sure.
I think, like John said, it's like a hard thing to admit when you're wrong. And you did. And like everyone said, you're the a-hole, but like at least John and I would love to know what chat thinks, but I feel like you kind of reversed it. And I would say, not the a-hole anymore.
Yeah, you won me over.
I think you won both of us over.
That's our vote.
I think you made good. But what everyone else, Spiffy Tiffy says, and the puppy, and Bonnie Fountain says, the puppies. What happened to the puppies? Marker M says, what happened to the chickens? What about the dog, though? What happened to the dog?
Okay, so this is all going on right now. And so the dog is here living with me and my husband. I haven't moved out yet. So that's part of what our kind of the crux of the matter was.
Yeah.
And I thought I needed to move out soon. He's saying, no, you wait till August. He and I are getting along fine as roommates. It's weird, but it works. And
so everyone's kind of living together in this weird, happy family.
Well, I wouldn't call it happy, but
right.
functioning, non-functioning, functioning.
It's like the limbo stage,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Before you move on to the next chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we had that pup date. Thanks, Victoria.
Yeah,
O,
so
for
I was going to say the dog is actually great. I took her to the vet today. She got a blood draw. Her liver's doing better, and
Wow.
gave her a pup cup afterwards.
Well, congrats to you
Truly.
for really owning up to it and doing the right thing. We're glad the pup is doing well too.
And the chickens.
And the chickens. And yeah, we appreciate you calling in and giving an update and I don't know, doing the right thing. That's fucking
truly.
awesome.
All right. Well, I'm glad that, like I said, that everyone could kind of weigh in on that and tell me, yes, your guilty conscience is really because you messed up.
Yeah.
And
Well,
Go
thanks for
Phillies.
calling in, and please submit more stories as you have them.
oh yeah, I have lots of stories.
Huge.
Awesome. We look forward to it. Thank you,
Thank you so
Anstasia.
much.
Well,
That is fucking awesome.
the first time on a live or just in actually OKOP history, we've had an update happen live as a result of our
advice we gave
conversation
and
with-
advice y'all gave.
Wow.
Yo, we're changing lives out
Pretty
here.
crazy.
We're fucking that's sick.
Pretty
That is
crazy.
so cool. We're changing lives. Oh my goodness.
My sister cheated on her boyfriend and he's about to propose. My younger sister grew close to one of her boyfriend's friends last summer. Her boyfriend was studying for the MCAT in his free time and wasn't spending too much time with her. So she began to hang out with the male friend. Her boyfriend said he trusted her and he wasn't worried or jealous. He should have
Big
been.
mistake.
He should have been.
Huge.
She asked her boyfriend for a break and then slept with the male friend. She reported to me that the affair was a quote-unquote empty experience.
Okay. Is that
She got back with her boyfriend right after. Her boyfriend was confused when the longtime male friend suddenly stopped speaking to him, and my sister never said a word. She left her boyfriend thinking he'd offend his friend or something. She asked me to never tell. So fast forward to 2024. Valentine's Day is approaching. Her boyfriend texted me asking for my help setting up a heartfelt wedding proposal. I cannot help with this in good conscience. I feel I'd be complicit in her sin. Their marriage would stand on a lie. Tonight, I encouraged her to tell him what happened last summer. She said they were on a break and it doesn't matter.
she kind of is in some
She is in cheating territory. She
All right.
asked for the break
Well,
with ulterior
I'm glad
motives.
that,
The
like I
truth
said, that
will
everyone
come out.
could kind
How
of
can I
weigh
say
in on
no
that
to
and
helping with the
tell me,
proposal?
yes, your guilty
I can't be
conscience is
involved with this. We
really
all know
because
a
you
quote-unquote
messed
break
up,
is code word
and,
to F around
yeah.
and find out. She did
Go
just
little
that,
sillies.
and the grass was not greener. On one end, if she takes this information
Oh,
to the
yeah, I
grave,
have lots
it
of
might be
stories.
happily ever after. Who knows how many relationships are in this category with secrets taken to the grave. Again, my standing is she did it during a break, although the break was asked for in bad faith. A break implies quickly try someone else out or let me be in my own thoughts to find myself. My moral compass would say, tell him. But I'm wise enough to know not to mess with other people's happiness as long as she doesn't mess around during a non-break / in the relationship. OP responds, thank you for articulating this. My moral compass says the same thing. This isn't her first instance of shady behavior. She has kissed multiple people at parties and sent sexual messages to other people.
Oh, dude, she's kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah.
She's kind of a piece of shit.
But this is the one instance that I'm entirely aware of with all the details. Searching for Signal says, say you can't in good conscience to the boyfriend. So being like, he's like, hey, will you help me propose? And you'd be like, I can't in good conscience. So OP responds to that. Great idea. And he'll ask why. And I can say, ask her.
Oh,
So that
kind of
being-
forcing it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think so. It's like tip off something that's right. There's something
Exactly. So you're not like spoiling it, but you're basically being like, you need to talk to her, which I think that's a pretty smart move.
I also love how the we were on a break is like so relevant still. Like everyone's commenting to the Ross and Rachel we were on a break from Friends.
Oh.
Did you not realize what we're on a break was from? That's
Freaking.
crazy.
I haven't seen that show fully.
Are you serious?
No.
I only watch it to fall asleep because of how boring it is.
I had a conversation with my sister. I told her she needed to tell her boyfriend what happened last summer. She called me a bitch, but called him on the phone. I think she feared I would tell him myself. I heard part of the conversation and her boyfriend was saying how it was very hurtful and he was so upset that she did that, but he still loves her, etc., etc. So ladies and gentlemen, the proposal happened anyways. She has been proposed to.
Even after all of like the
After
kissing
everything.
and the cheating and the spicy texts.
He has proposed to her. The proposal has happened.
Wow.
I did not help out. Thankfully, I was not able to leave work early. So OP still kind of kept their hands out of it.
But still, like,
Yeah. The crazy thing is, several men reached out to the boyfriend on his Instagram after the happy couple was posted post-proposal. One man shared his surprise that my sister and the BF were engaged because that guy had slept with my sister 2 months prior to that. Keep in mind, this is not the same guy that we thought about before. That
this
we
is
knew.
several.
Other men shared that my sister had engaged in sexual activities with them at different points in the recent past. I did not realize that she got around so much. It's crazy. Her boyfriend, again, now fiance, brought these allegations to her. And she told him that those people are just, quote unquote, trying to disturb the peace.
Shut the up. All right. Dude, there's so many red flags in this marriage. Like,
Haters gonna hate.
Shut up.
She urged him to block these people. She deleted all of her own social media and blocked any man that she'd been intimate with in any capacity. I think these are her attempts at damage control. Her fiance is infatuated with her. This is his first real relationship. But I think even he knows the engagement is wrong. This whole relationship is wrong. He still hasn't told his parents that they're engaged yet. They never really approved of him dating my sister anyways. She is a free spirit who loves tattoos and impulsive living. He comes from an upper middle class family and has a very specific trajectory in life. So yes, they're engaged, but it's all a dumpster fire of foolishness. Historical Pie 5052 says, since he's studying to be a doctor, get him to tell her she must sign a prenup with an ironclad infidelity clause.
Low key, kind of like a pretty great move if you get an ironclad infidelity clause with someone that you know will cheat, because like then you're gonna get half their shit.
It's like putting a parlay on a bet or something like that.
Yeah, exactly, dude. It's like they're kind of gonna. You kind of win.
It's a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy,
Yeah.
low-key. OP responded to that. I agree. I imagine that will be discussed once his parents find out. That makes sense. If I were in your shoes says, that's funny, just tell his parents. Wow. Do it anonymously and tell them about all the time she cheated. They will deal with him and pull his head out of his ass. OP said he already told his younger brother and a friend. The parents will find out very soon, I'm sure, and it'll be extra worse because he didn't tell them. Do we think that OP should tell the parents?
I think so.
Yeah?
I think so.
Yeah, it is reaching a desperate measures point.
But there's also a point where it's like this guy is, he's screwing up his own life, and it's like, like I've talked to people where I'm like, oh man, like you're really like, I feel like you're kind of making a bad decision. But the thing is, like even when I say like my piece, I may see like what is on the outside, but a relationship is like so deep and it's like an iceberg, and you only know what people are like telling you, which is like the tip. You don't know everything below, and so it's like almost impossible to say this is what you should do, because you don't actually know what the relationship is and like what they believe.
Yeah. I'm going to read this final relevant comment from Oblong Rectum. Maybe you should tell his parents. OP says, no, I won't be telling them. I feel I did what I needed to do with the information I had. The fiance or his brother should tell their parents. My goal was to get my sister to be honest and stop hurting an innocent person by hiding the truth. It's not right. I didn't realize there is much, much more to it. Many more men are involved, etc., etc. So now I'm not doing anything more. I really feel they will not get married. This young man already knows this engagement is wrong. That's why he's hiding it from his parents. They will talk some sense into him. Yeah, he hasn't told his parents yet. He's worried that they'll tell him the truth.
Yeah.
Should OP like tell the parents and like essentially kind of like do whatever it takes
Almost
to
like
stop
tattle.
it?
Yeah.
Almost like tattle. And then OP's final sentiment on it was like, hey, I helped the truth be revealed without spoiling any surprises or like, truly forcing anyone's hand. So like I did my piece. They're adults. They can kind of like figure it out.
I agree with. I agree with.
Yeah,
There's only so much you can do, and she did reveal what needed to be revealed to him, I think.
And like OP mentioned things like the parents don't know yet. Once they do, they'll talk some sense to him. So OP does believe like once everything is said and done, they will end up not together.
Yeah. She did exactly what she should have done.
Yes.
So
Yeah, great, honestly, great maneuvering the situation on OP's part, I would say.
I think my dad is having an affair with my adopted sister, and I told my mom to leave him. Am I the a-hole? I, 36 female, am going to start at the beginning. First, my sister Catherine, 38 female, is not actually my adopted sister. Catherine is my half-brother Jack's, 25 male, half-sister through his mom. My dad is a habitual cheater. I have had suspicions he has continued to see my brother's mom long after she left Jack's life. He did things like help her with her homework. My mom found out about Jack just before my dad went to a tournament in Mexico, which turns out he took my now stepmom with him. That was the final straw for my parents' marriage. My dad, 54 male, is a truck driver, and I believe he continued to see Jack's mom while on the road and potentially others. Due to the nature of my dad's business, he owns a trucking company. He is on the phone all day and often in the night. My dad is not the type of person to complain about not getting any all day long. So it sounds like habitual cheater. Backstory over, now down to the nitty gritty. 2 years ago, just before Thanksgiving, stepmom's only sibling, who she was very close to, yeeted himself. My cousin, his only daughter, was struggling, so she came to visit. My parents are very strict. They have rules for visiting them and rules for living with them, and they are different. My mom, for the purpose of this story, I'm going to drop the step part, as I call her mom in real life. My family doesn't believe in step, which I guess is like somewhat common, where you just like leave the step and just say mom.
That's great when it's like it just becomes like true family at the end of the day. It's great.
We only have family. It's very upfront about the rules, and if you move in, you sign a physical contract he puts on the fridge. There are no questions about what is expected of you. My cousin Laura, 18 female, comes to stay with her Labradoodle. Ordinarily, my parents don't allow pets since my mom was allergic, but my sister Catherine and Lynn, 15 female, each have small dogs that are very well trained. Laura's dog doesn't seem to be well trained at all. It is aggressive towards people and animals. It chews and eats things that can hurt it, and Laura seems to be leaving the care up to anyone who will do it, including myself, who is not a dog fan, and I am just visiting. A little backstory on my sister. My sister was in a very bad car wreck. She has been cared for. When she came to live with my parents, she was forced to get rid of her big pit bulls and get a smaller dog. These were older dogs, and she has since had puppies. She was understandably upset. Laura now informs my mom she is staying. I believe the offer was made, but Laura declined at the time. Since coming to stay, she was not doing well. She isn't taking care of herself, her animal. So basically, like, Laura isn't taking care of anything.
Right.
It's
only going downhill.
Yeah, it's downhill. She's living with the mom, and they have a physical contract about like what needs to happen. And it seems like it's being like violated right now. To us, it was pretty clear she was suffering from anxiety and depression. She was claiming that her dog was an emotional support dog, to which my parents asked her to provide documentation. She never did. She was pulling my little sister down with her. She was also not following the rules. My mom doesn't know what to do, and she wants to help Laura, but Laura keeps refusing. Mom also has her grief to deal with. My dad is not helpful at all and makes tasteless jokes at my uncle's funeral. My little sister and all her stuff, my adopted sister and her needs, and finally, my dad tells my mom he has to go. Keep in mind, my mom has had several of Jack's other half-siblings. They lived with her for extended periods while he was on the road. And then everyone except Catherine has treated my mom like garbage the entire time. So in my opinion, it's pretty rich for him to step in now. Even more so since he is hardly ever there to experience it. Funny how he stands up now that it is inconveniencing Catherine. So I am going to skip ahead a little bit. We're getting some basically like demands. We're getting some like where the dogs are at. Basically, Catherine demands Laura to be kicked out immediately. My mom is shell-shocked and torn. Laura has no place to go with her dog at this time. My grandparents offered to let Catherine stay with them. They would have let Laura, but they couldn't handle the dog. Catherine opts for a tent in my dad's workshop with the truck. Someone just said, should we just call now so we can ask questions in real time? That is a great idea.
Let's do it.
Hello.
What's good, girl?
Hello. Thanks for submitting your story. Can you just give me like the straight shot 1 minute story of like what's happening?
Well, what happened was my cousin came to stay. Some stuff happened between her dog and my sister's dog. And that caused my sister to have a whole meltdown. And because my mom didn't react quick enough, my sister was like, screw you, I hate you.
Mm.
I'm moving into a tent into my dad's workshop, which is not heated. There's no bathroom.
Oh my God.
Wow.
So she's
And she lives
basically
in the
like ditching
basement.
the living situation because she's unhappy with everything that's going on. And she's almost like, I am going to make myself miserable to like show you you're terrible.
Right. And
Got it.
in the story, she typically, sorry, I got high because I got nervous.
It's all good.
No sweat.
Let's go.
Which I feel like is apt
Very
for this
apt.
situation.
Yes.
Right. So I, trust me, to deal with my family, I must be elevated. She, normally with my sister, you cannot talk to her because of her traumatic brain injury. You can't talk to her when she first gets upset over something because she's not rational. And so my mom gave her a minute, which is what we all do. Well, apparently by not doing that, she told my mom this made her feel unsafe, and that my mom didn't care, and that's why she moved out.
So is
But
she
now-
currently moved out right now? Like, is
Yeah,
she, like,
they've been gone for over a year.
Oh my
is
God.
she
They've been-
still living in a tent?
No, my dad bought a trailer
Okay.
Okay.
and some land next to his friend, and that's where him and my sister have been living for over a year.
All right.
So it sounds like she's like basically she's basically causing the whole family like grief.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like my dad was in this trailer with my adopted sister, who's 38, instead of at home with my mom and my biological sister, who
so
is
your
16.
dad was with your older sister's, like his like the stepsister, basically
The adopted sister.
the adopted sister, and are they hooking up in the trailer?
I don't know, but she used to go out on the road with him in the truck, and now with this, like, my dad came home for Christmas to celebrate Christmas with the family, and he had to leave early because he had to go and get her coffee, and he had to do it early because everything was closing because it's Christmas, and he left all of his Christmas presents at my mom's house, not where he stays at when he left.
Oh my God. So you're thinking they're like potentially hooking up?
Yeah, and my dad slept with his mother. That's where with her mother. That's where my brother was born. So this family has blown up my family twice.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. So like what?
Whoa.
So I mean, you're not the ass.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
For sure not. I'm sorry that you have
But
to
I
deal
didn't
with all
tell
this.
my mom about what I suspected, because who wants to find out that this woman you took into your home and
Yeah.
have cared for like a daughter is doing this? But just the fact that he's not at home, hasn't been at home for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like being open and honest with your mom is like probably the best thing to do. That's the only thing that you can do in this situation, I think, right?
Perhaps you could say,
Yeah.
like, hey, given this situation, quick rundown of the situation, like, do you have any concerns? Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like concerning to me. Maybe, I mean, I don't know what you guys think. Like, maybe you don't even necessarily have to immediately bring up the suspicion, but maybe
Yeah.
your mom is thinking the same thing
Yeah.
in the back of her head, and you
Yeah.
can kind of like,
I think just giving all the information to your mom
Yeah.
is probably the best thing.
Yeah.
You're definitely not the a-hole. This is an impossibly hard situation. I think you're doing the right thing by telling your mom, and also relax and take a rip of whatever substance that you have because you need a rest.
Yeah, no, I mean, and my dad was here the other day, like at my house. I'm just so disgusted by him.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I
like
couldn't-
maybe it's like I mean, if you feel that way, it could be like a no contact situation if it really feels like that trust has been violated. But Hippie Mama, thanks for calling in
you.
and giving your breakdown of the story. And I'm sorry you're having to go through all of that, but I feel like, being open and honest with your mom and distancing yourself from all of this craziness could be the right thing to do.
And us and the little sillies got you. So.
Yes.
All right, appreciate you too. Thanks
See
for
ya.
keeping me
Later.
sane.
Thank you.
Of course.
Crazy situation. Thanks for calling in. I know like there was a lot of moving parts in that story, so I know it might be confusing for some of y'all, but hopefully we described it good enough.